Hey everyone, thanks for a great lab this week. I just want to follow up with some suggestions. In the second assignment for the communication skill summary, you're asked to construct tables that illustrate or present your data that you measured, the values that you calculated, and any average values and or percent errors that you found. So I wanted just to go through this. There are many ways to present your data. There's no right way, but there are bad tables and there are good tables. Every good table should have a table heading. So I'm going to give you an example of what I personally would do to arrange my data, calculated values, and average densities and percent errors for the part of the procedure where we use the burette. So I have here, I'm going to have a header or a label for my table, table 3, let's say. I'm going to give it a really exact table heading or title. Measured data and calculated density values for water at 24.5 degrees Celsius using a burette for volume measurement. And then I'm going to construct my table. And you can construct tables in Word or your favorite word processing software, and that's fairly easy to do. I like to construct my tables though in Excel, like I like using spreadsheets. And here's an example of that, and let me just zoom in a little so you can see. So I constructed this table. So here are the values that I actually gathered during the lab, just like your values. You know, this was from the burette method. So there's my initial volume, my final volume, and there's my volume of water, which is the difference. See how I have these under my 3 trials? You did this 3 times, so present all those 3 measurements. Down here, I have my mass of my beaker, which was the same. I was using the same beaker, my mass of beaker plus water, and from that I calculated the mass of the water. With the mass of the water and the volume of the water, I could calculate the density. So I have that clearly labeled here. Maybe that should read calculated density of water or densities of water. I've got my units here really clear, or you can include them over here each time. I'm adhering to significant figures, 4 sig figs here. For Y3 here, well, I took my mass, which had 4 significant figures, divided by my volume of water. That volume only had 3 sig figs. So I only have to have, or I should have, 3 sig figs in that value, 4 in the others if you're wondering there. Adhere to your sig fig rules. Taking those 3 as an average, I have that value, and again, why 3 sig figs there? Well, there were 4 here, and 3 here. So the least number of sig figs is the determinant on that one. So that is that value. I could look on the table or the web for the true density, the actual density of water at that particular temperature, record that value there. I don't know what that is, but it's going to be something like 0.998 or something like that. And then calculate your relative percent error. Many of you were already doing that in class and you know how to do that. So let's say that I was really good and I had 1.23% error on that one. So there's my table. I also spruced it up. Excel allows you to do some stuff like format cells, and I can do a border around the whole thing, or headers. I like to have like double lines and single lines sometimes. It's up to you. Maybe you want all of this centered like that so it looks cool. Whatever you want to do to make it really look good, but it has to be organized, okay? So organized and clear. I can then highlight that table that I created in Excel and take it into Word. So I have everything in one spot. I'm just going to copy and go back to my Word document here. I have the table heading. I'm just going to paste my table in. And that looks pretty good. It's organized, it's clear. I would say this is a good table. And again, to iterate this, all of these things may look different. So I want you to be creative on this. Again, there's not one true way to do a table to present your data and these calculated values. There's a whole batch of them. So don't worry if yours doesn't look like your partner's, that's okay. But the essential components are here: organization, clarity, table heading, and that's about it. So those are some just suggestions. If you have any issue prior to handing this in next week, you can email me. All right, see you later.